Okay, so today we are talking about Days Gone. So, I know it's already been a little while since the controversy that one of the directors of the game kind of came out and talked about. But still, I just thought I would give my thoughts on the game, what I thought about it, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it. Okay, so why am I doing this now? Well, because this is actually really close to. Well, basically, it's kind of interesting on the timeline in which the director had did the controversy because the timeline he did it was really close to, I believe, when the game originally came out. For me talking here, just want to clarify what I'm trying to say. Basically, the game came out in April of 2019, and the controversy happened in April of 2021. So that's what I wanted to clarify. At least that's when it went public. And this is a couple of months later, which is we're pretty close to when I actually purchased the game uh, at the time. So yes, I didn't purchase the game Days Gone. I keep wanting to call it The Last of Us, but that's just because there are some similarities. But no, I did not purchase Days Gone day one. I waited until there was a digital sale, and I purchased it then. Now, the whole reason that I purchased it when the game went on sale is just because when the game first came out day one, it had nothing but glitches. There's probably a dozen plus YouTubers out there I could point out to who played the game day one, they bought the game day one, and they were the first thing in their videos was talking about glitches and how some of the aiming felt off and how some of the shooting felt off. They did enjoy the game, but there were minor glitches. And even when I got it, it's like but when I got it, a majority of those glitches had been patched in. So glitches and bugs are definitely something that can be fixed. Uh, and definitely can change the game. I think even Gerard, the completionist, even said something along this lines when he was talking about the game. I forget what it was called. If I remember it, I'll edit it in. Yooka-Laylee. The game he was talking about, Gerard the completionist was talking about, was Yooka-Laylee. Now, what's the similarities between Yooka-Laylee and Days Gone? Well, not a whole lot, other than the fact that when they both came out, they definitely did have bugs and glitches. And one thing that Gerard the completionist pointed out is that there were a number of reviewers that did bring this up and did talk about this. But at the same time, it's like they were also basing their review score on some of those bugs and glitches. And the thing to remember is that bugs and glitches can be patched, they can be fixed, they can be altered. But the big difference between Yooka-Laylee and Days Gone is Yooka-Laylee was a crowd-funded indie game that was being released on multiple platforms on a team of, I want to say, 4 people. It took them the better part of 4 or 5 years just to fully develop that game, so it's a little easier to forgive them, especially when you have so few people working on it and they had such a tight budget and they had a relatively small timeline to complete things. Hey guys, future me again here. So, it looks like they were established in 2014, so that means they had roughly 3 or 4 years to develop the game. They had about a £2 million, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce that, budget, which equates to about $2.8 million US, so really tight timelines, really tight budget. Just wanted to say that. But now, with that said, I don't know the full timeline or budget or the size of the team that worked on Days Gone. I want to say, I know that Sony Bend Studio, I think, is the company, they're the studio that developed it. I want to say they're a relatively large team, even though they've only worked on PlayStation Portable and PlayStation Vita games before this. I want to say this is one of their bigger titles. I think they did work on also the Order 1886, but I'd have to. If I'm incorrect, I'll put something in the video right here that corrects that. Uh, but still, For the most part, what I'm saying is that they are a relatively small team. They don't have a whole lot of experience with these bigger open world games. It's probably one of the biggest games this studio's ever worked on. So to a degree, they need a little bit of understanding there. This is one of the bigger games that they've worked on, in my opinion. Okay, so let's break this down real quick here because I don't have a lot of time. They are Bend Studios. That's the image you're seeing now. They mostly worked on the Siphon Filter games for most of their career. They even created the franchise. They've worked on mostly Siphon Filter, a couple of Vita games, and this actually is the biggest game they've ever worked on. And then anytime a giant open world game similar to this comes out, I want to say it's a challenge for just about any studio and just about any team out there and anyone out there. I can't even imagine. I've only ever seen like behind the scenes kind of stuff, like that's like come out for press events and stuff for different games. But I can only really imagine the process that you have to go through in recreating buildings, or in this case, wildlands, and also animal behavior, things like that. Um, Assuming you have animals in your game, which I believe this one did. So I guess what I'm trying to say is we do need to be a little bit forgiving. But at the same time, with that said, I don't know if it's a good idea to spend $60 on a game that was as glitchy as Days Gone. But at the same time, they're not the first development team that's had controversy like this. I think it was the Assassin's Creed game franchise, which I have famously pointed out and called out for being so buggy, so glitchy, so broken to the point where I feel like it was a sin to humanity to sell their games at $60. Days Gone is not in that same category. Days Gone is a game where it's like it's really fun, it's really good despite the glitches. The patches did come in, and it was very good when I got it. Um, so for the most part, it's a really good game. The open world aspect was solid. The shooting was solid. The like zombie esque creatures, they were very. I loved the different variations, and I loved how every time you would have a mini boss, that new variant of zombie would then be wandering the world somewhere. That was always interesting to see. I loved the hordes and the herds. I loved the, like, I guess I could say to a degree, like dynamic bandit camps that would pop up every now and then here and there throughout the world, if that's the correct way to put it. The weapon variety was good. A little bit unrealistic that you have that many really high end weapons still fully functioning, but still there was a militia force that was possibly rebuilding equipment, and there's still remnants of military possibly still pumping new equipment into the field. So you never know. With that's the ambiguity of it. This game, in my opinion, falls into more of a Star Fox Zero kind of category. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying is that it's a little bit glitchy. It has its problems, but I wouldn't have minded a sequel. I would love to have seen a sequel. I would say that this definitely deserves a sequel, and I'd like to see where they wanted to take the story. I would also like to see ways that they can improve on this, uh, like open world zombie concept. I feel like some of the few ones that can point to would actually be just as glitchy, actually more glitchy than this, which would obviously be the Dead Island series, or possibly even the Dying Light series. Then you also have the Dead Rising series. All those games had probably more glitches than this game ever did, and they all got sequels. And I don't know. I'm just saying this game definitely deserves a sequel, and it definitely deserves to be explored. So, to the director and the studios and creative teams who worked on this, you know what? For the most part, it's a great game. It definitely has its own place in the zombie genre. I feel like anything zombie is definitely worth one playthrough or one watch. So it could definitely have its own market, its own niche, whatever you want to call it. Uh, but still, it's worth playing and it's very good. No, I know that's not much of a review. More thoughts than anything else. I'm not gonna give this like review any kind of like hard number or anything like that. But still, overall, not a bad game. Pretty good experience. Would love to see a sequel. That's just what I have to say about this. Hope you guys enjoy this new like camera setup. I definitely am. It frees up my hand so I can go waving around and stuff. Uh, it will definitely change up some videos. So definitely don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'm the X Gamer, and I got a game to play.